Welcome to Mendezville Live, where it's something to talk about. Here is Rudy Mendez.
What's going on, Mendezville Live? We got a good show for you. We got a nice special guest, former teammate of mine. But before we get into that, we had a good day in politics, and we'll talk a little bit about that in my little introduction monologue. But let's give a shout out to my sponsor, World Finance. When life throws unexpected expenses your way, World Finance is here to help. Whether it's medical bills, car repairs, or child care expenses, a personal installment or title loan can help you take control and get back to the good things in life. Even if you have a low credit score or no credit score, they will help you get the money you need. Get started by applying today at their Mission location at 1600 North Conway, Suite A, Mission, Texas. They can take applications by phone at 956-580-4533, or you can visit their website at loansbyworld.com. They are accepting applications with matriculas, passport, or ITIN. You do not need to have a social to apply. All loans are subject to their usual credit underwriting policies. That is World Finance. Please give them a call if you need a loan, need some money, get back on your feet. A great guy, the manager down there. Also by For Life, Together Building People, the immune system company, independent distributor of Rodolfo Mendez. You can find supplements at www.forlife.com/Rudy Mendez. Help your immune system. All right, today's guest, a good buddy of mine. Played ball together, went to college, hung out. Currently a contractor. We're going to go and dissect his journey and how he got so good and started so late, and some advice, some hindsight, some feedback, and we'll talk about different philosophies that we have. Please welcome to the show my buddy, my pal, my man, Juan Muniz from Muniz Construction. What's going on, Juan? How you doing?
Hey, Rudy. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo andamos? ¿Todo tranquilo, qué?
Todo bien. Thanks for having me on your show, Mendezville.
And hey, I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while, ever since I had Adan Montalvo on the show, because we talk basketball, and we go over who's a better athlete, the basketball player, the football player. He got to college. You played college ball. We'll go through that. So how's politics for you right now? Let's talk about politics for like 2 minutes. How's that going for you? Does it matter for you?
Nah. Politics, I'm out. I'm not too. I don't want to get into politics.
Okay, good. Hey, that's a good shade. That's a good way to go. We're talking basketball.
I'm neutral,
which is good. You got to be neutral on some things because some people get upset. We're gonna talk basketball. We're gonna go through the resume. I remember, what elementary did you go to back in the day? Kika?
Back in the day, it was Kika de la Garza. I grew up on Inspiration, almost 7 Mile Line, Las Colonias.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I almost belonged to Mission ISD.
You're right across the street from Mission ISD. That's right.
Street. Yeah, it was right across the street. Just to go to La Jolla, when I was in high school, just to go to La Jolla, it was like almost like an hour like bus ride. So those after school were 2 hours.
Yeah, for sure, man. I remember that. That's a long drive, man. I wonder what happened here. Give me a sec. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. Man, I couldn't. My back, Juan. I couldn't see myself. I was like, "What's going on?" But it was just the lighting. It just looked different. But yeah, you lived far away, man. I remember. I'll tell you what. I had a story. I think it was my sophomore year in high school. And se sube el vocero after a Saturday game. I played JV. I don't know. You never got to. You don't know anything about playing JV, right? You skipped all that. But I think I was playing. I don't even think it was JV. I think it was my sophomore year. Se sube el vocero. Oh, nomás son 5. Ahorita acabo en caliente. Dice el vocero, a ver, ¿usted tú dónde vives? No, pues yo vivo allá por Sullivan. Bueno, ¿y tú dónde vives? Se me queda la chaira. ¿Y tú dónde vives? No, pues yo vivo allá en Ojo de Agua, Abram. ¿Y tú dónde vives? Allá por Tierra Blanca, Tierra Rodada, por allá. ¿Y tú dónde vives? Allá por la Inspiration 7 Mile Line. I think it was Braulio. ¿Y tú dónde vives? Allá en la Western, Dolphin Road, Western, Luis Peña. Y luego yo. What he thought was going to be a 15, 20-minute drive was an hour and a half later. Right? That was a big district.
Good old days.
So, Juan, we've been dissecting, and, I talk to Eric all the time. Good old Monty E. And I had to get him on the show. We want to talk about your resume. How did you get into basketball? you moved to you saw okay, first of all, you started because we remember we also talked about that bilingual and the grades. We want to talk about that a little bit too. Is you start school in elementary, what grade?
I was first grade.
First grade at Kika La
I
Garza.
came from Reynosa. Yeah. First grade, like I had told you before, my I didn't have a strong vocabulary in Spanish, y menos English. So,
Yeah.
so I was not even like, como dicen ese dicho, yo ni era ni de aquí ni de allá, and that really hurt me in high school. And not only that, once that I went to McMurray, forget about it, man. Like I was
Tough.
lost. I was lost. I mean, good thing that I had teachers one-to-one. But nah, I mean, when I went to McMurray, I was not ready to for school wise. I was not ready.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because see, I'm a big advocate, and we have some good athletes in the Valley. We have some good athletes, especially in the Juarez Lincoln area, Las Mias, right? First generations, Valley View, Donna, in the Valley. I'm against the bilingual program after second grade, or after your first 2 years, maybe your third year max in elementary. Okay, ya lo hubo, dale para inglés.
And
right?
that's the way it should be. Let's say pre-K, first grade, like you say, second grade, fine. After that, it should be all English.
All English.
All English. All English, because I mean, yo pasé por eso. My parents, they don't know English. My brothers, they don't know English. So, I mean, I was the only one. So, lo poquito que aprendía, it was just at school.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, when I was from first grade to sixth grade, every weekend I would go to Reynosa because my parents would. My dad had a store in Reynosa. Had the buses, so I would go over there with my parents. So instead of improving, I was probably going back.
You would regress. All right, so let me ask you this: during the elementary years there at Kika, were you in like bilingual or ESL or any programs were you doing both programs, or era todo inglés, o cómo le hacías ahí?
Nah, it was no me acuerdo. I mean, honestly, it's almost 25, 30 years.
Okay, yeah.
But I remember it was all for me. It was all Spanish. Right. 1, 2. All the kids from Las Colonias, they were just like me. So
yeah.
So I mean, basically, there was no challenge that let's say my friend is speaking all English because he comes. Basically, I mean, out of the 20 kids, probably 15 kids, they were all from Las Colonias, so we were just in the same level.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that's my biggest thing, Juan, is when you saw me and Tino, and we, I cut that clip for like 12 minutes. I think we do a disservice in the Valley from Roma all the way to Bronzeville, in the sense that we have very good athletes. For example, right now, soccer. We have very good athletes in soccer, but a lot of these kids are struggling to get a high ACT score, some really good grades. So now they're going to JUCO colleges instead of them being in a tier 1.
Let me tell you what happened when I was in high school. I mean, I think I took the ACT like 3 times, and that's because that was my last year already. I think my high score was like a 14.
Really, Juan?
14. I couldn't 14, 15, something like that.
Wow.
So what I did.
That's tough.
What they told me, I was like, okay, you need to get accepted. But so what you can do, you need to go get to a community college and get 15 or 20 hours, and then transfer.
Right.
So I went to that summer and fall. I went to STCC or STC, something like that. And I took Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, and Spanish whatever. All the easy stuff.
Just get the hours.
Just get the hours, and then I transferred for.
Oh wait, so time out. So when you graduate La Jolla High School, that fall you don't go to McMurray.
No, I started college that June.
Wow, I see. I didn't know that about you.
I started, because I had to take those 15 hours, or I don't know how many, 15 or 25, something like that. But
right.
I had to take those hours in order to get transfer to McMurray.
But you knew already that after you met those hours, you were going to go to McMurray, though.
Yes,
that was a guarantee.
That was the plan already.
Okay,
the coaches helped me out. That was going to be the plan. Go get your hours, transfer, and you're going to be a red shirt because I was going to be there till December.
Mm-hmm.
And then start in the spring.
That's pretty neat. So that, I guess, that covers the bilingual situation. Is I think both you and I are in the same boat, as we would advise parents to have them in all English after the first 2 years that they do elementary.
And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing with my kids right now. I mean, my kids right now, I have them in basically like their school. It's all Spanish right now. They're pre-K, but maybe just for first grade, second grade, boom, all English.
Yeah.
But
Well, see, that's what I'm doing with. Well, what do you speak?
What you did with Sophia, something like that.
Yeah, I did the same thing with Sophia. The only problem with Sophia is, I don't know how your household is, but at my house we speak English. They watch TV in English, and I'm like, gee, wow! I wish they would watch it. And sometimes I will put on Netflix Spanish, like the summer during COVID. Yeah. You're watching all the shows in Spanish because I needed them to know Spanish.
And not only that, and going back when I was a freshman, man, it was tough. I mean, it was like. College, yeah. I mean, I was like, the only subject that I was all right, it was math.
I got you.
Math. That was the only thing that but English, writing, economics, reading, all that, I was the only thing that I think I always tell this Montalvo's Adan and Eric. I think my professors just kind of gave me a C because I would try.
Right. Right.
I would try. I mean, hey, Juan, you need to be here by whatever time to go 1-on-1. I was there. So I mean, I was getting C+, C's, but that was, I mean, and I don't feel embarrassed because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to brag, but I mean, gracias a Dios, I'm successful. Just that's what I tell kids, or that's what I tell my nieces, nephews. Just try, just don't quit.
Right.
Just try, don't quit, because nowadays that's what kids nowadays they just se agüitan, they don't go to school, this and that. Yeah. They prefer go to start working, and I mean that's fine. I mean you can be 20, 21 and start earning 40s, 50, 60,000 and whatever in the oil fields, and that's fine. But I mean the best thing to do is at least go 4 years, man. I mean after that, I mean those were one of my best years in college. Those 4 years, I mean, awesome.
And I will say this one, it's because I'm into the education. I'm a teacher, coach, and what I've learned over the course of my time here in the Valley, and my whatever I've learned in the 39 years on this earth, especially as an adult in the education field, is success is measured differently to different people.
True.
And I think that's what. I think we, as in the state of Texas and most of America's, all go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. You don't have to go to college to be successful.
You don't have to, but at least have that as a resume. Go to college, at least get your at least, and then you can. Okay, I graduated. My major was Spanish, and the only reason that my major was going to be Spanish it is Spanish was because I thought it was going to be easy.
It wasn't easy.
Nah, I mean, once I started the Spanish classes for my major, it was like Greek, or it was not even Spanish.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, for me, that was, I had to, what's the easiest way?
Oh, Juan checked out. Don't worry. He'll be back. Don't worry. So I will tell you this, when it comes to Juan and he'll be back, he'll be back in about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. He's got to click some buttons, is when we're talking about Spanish and bilingual. For example, he mentioned my daughter. The biggest problem I had here is, and I didn't get to ask him, we're going to talk about that, is I don't know if him and his wife speak Spanish more at home. I know here, me and Elena, we speak a lot more English. On TV, they watch a lot more English. But what I did was, on Netflix, I figured out a way that all the shows for like the whole summer during COVID, at least for the first 3 episodes, they were watching everything in Spanish. So, I said, you know what? I can't have them forget. Now, the one that's going to struggle the most in that is the little one, because, I don't have her in school this year, and I have her in Spanish school. Don't worry, Juan, you're back. Don't worry. I'm just talking about the bilingual stuff, how I'm talking to them about how I was going to ask you how the language you speak at home, because here we speak English, and my little one, the smallest one, for her to converse with me, her mom, and the little siblings, with Levi and Sofia, esta mia, she has to speak English. So I think she's going to be affected the most. You speak at home that she doesn't speak Spanish. There's a loop. You have 2 things open right now.
Yeah. Do I use the phone or the iPad?
Whichever one you want, you just got to close one of them. Because then they can hear me talking. He'll be back. Don't worry. Some technical difficulties. So we're talking about that, the bilingual thing. So for those of you watching, I highly encourage your, bilingual. I mean, especially those Spanish speaking people, the first generations that speak Spanish all day. My cousin, first generation, her daughter, she's in all English at school and at home, because of course they speak Spanish. And now she's like, no, she's learning both. And scientifically, now you're tapping into different parts of the brain, because it has to do a quick job of sometimes, making translating a Spanish word to an English word and an English word to a Spanish word. So it gets interesting how the brain works like that. So just so you guys know, heads up out there, I'm a big fan of playing with the brain. Now that I know that, I just put my kids in piano. So now I'm Levi and Sophia in piano classes, so I can tap into that part of the brain. So we'll see how that goes. They just started. Sophia's a little bit older, so she's getting the hang of it a little bit quicker, but Levi's in there. And the biggest thing is that what I'm proud of as a father is that they both focus. The teacher, I spoke to the professor after the class yesterday, and he said the biggest thing they have is that they listen. They just sit there and they're absorbing. You could tell that they're focused. And I guess all the times that I tell them all the time, hey, you need to focus. You need to concentrate. If you're going to climb a tree and you're going to jump off it, do it right. Don't get hurt. Focus, whatever it may be, right? So, and that's the thing, guys. Just make sure that we train the kids to focus and try their best. Like Juan was saying right now, he'll be back in a little bit. Technical difficulties is we measure success differently. For example, most people would be like, oh, well, he said he got a 14. Well, yeah, he got a 14. He had to go do whatever he had to do, the hours at STC. He goes plays basketball in McMurray. Now he's a contractor making God knows how much money he's making. He's making a good chunk of change. So if you're measuring success by the amount of money you make, the guy's pretty successful, right? So it just depends. And I always tell students, you don't have to go to a 4-year university. You can go to a trade school, go to 2 years, get your associates and whatever it may be. I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's path is different. You don't have to go to college. And not only that, college now, the Institute of College. Some of us have to be careful. The price of college has the inflation on the price is just ridiculous. It's like a debt, like it's a trap for everybody coming. I'll tell you what, Vincent Gonzalez, it's a little late in his term, but Congressman Vincent Gonzalez, he just, I think he's passing a bill, or he put it on the whatever it is in Congress that, to give like a $20,000 student debt relief. I mean, that's pretty cool. I don't know if it passes. I know he would have my vote if he was a guy that was responsible for it passing before November 3rd. So I'm going to give him till November, October 30th. If that bill passes, he's got my vote. If it doesn't pass, I don't know. But then again, Monica La Cruz, it's one of those red or blues. It's one of those red or blues with the student debt relief and what's going on. So students who are watching this, be careful with going to college and just to go to college without, having a goal, because it can get very pricey. The student loans, how they get you, the interest rate. I mean, people are stuck with that loan for 20, 30 years. You graduate at 22, 23, 20 nowadays. And you still got to pay. I mean, for example, my out-of-state tuition when I went to Indiana State, I mean, I learned so much and it was a great experience, but boy, did I have to pay for it. Man, the student loan payment back, it was intense. It's tough. The quality of life, the financial burden that has on you, that hangs over your head, it can be tough. It can be tough. But luckily, I've got some avenues of income with For Life, mental sports training, different things. So, you find ways around it, but you got to be grinding. You can't quit. You always got to try. So that's my message for the whole college thing, the bilingual thing. It's like Juan said, he struggled. College was hard for him because of the vocabulary. It's tough. It's tough. So it's not easy. So we have to have that understanding of it's not easy. And for people in the area, we need to go bilingual. Now, let me give a background behind Juan. He was at Kika de la Garza. I don't remember him at Kika. I was at Kika de la Garza in second grade. Second grade was my last year there. And then they transferred me over to Memorial Middle School. No, Memorial Elementary. I did third, fourth, and fifth. No, that's not true. I did fourth, fifth, and sixth at Memorial Elementary. I did second and third were my final years at Kika La Garza. I did fourth, fifth, and sixth at Memorial Elementary. And oh man, those years were tough for me. Those years were tough, but good experiences there. So I didn't get to meet Juan again till what? Middle school. Not even I don't even remember him that much in middle school. To be honest with you, at La Jolla Middle School, I don't remember him that much. Seventh grader, my brain is trying to figure things out. But then in eighth grade, when we went to Memorial Middle School, we were teammates on the football team, on the basketball team. It was a little bit smaller, school, not as many numbers. So that was pretty cool. That's when I got to meet him really well. And ever since then, we played basketball together. Of course, I never played with him except my senior. To be honest with you, I never played with him until my senior year in high school, because in seventh grade, he was on the A team. Well, I think he was on the A team. I was on the B team. In eighth grade, he was on the A team. I was on the B team. In ninth grade, he was on the A team. I was on the B team. In 10th grade, I was on the 10th grade sophomore team. He was already on the varsity. My 11th grade year, I was in JV. He was on the varsity. He did 3 years in varsity. I think he did 4 years on the varsity. But we'll get him back. We'll give him some time. He's trying to figure out the Wi-Fi situation and the iPad and the phone. I don't know if he has a charge or not. But so that's the backstory behind him and me. And a story that I'll tell him here again is I never got mad at the guy. Great player, awesome player. I still remember we're in the championship, in the district championship game. And, minutes left. We're playing Nicky Rowe. And I remember, I think it was Abel. I think Abel gave me a pass, or Eric. I don't know. One of the guards gives me a pass too high. I have to jump, right? I have to jump to grab it. But in the corner of my eye, I see Juan wide open over here. I mean, I got to get it in there. All he has to do is catch it in his hand, turn around, wide open dunk. That's all he has to do. That's all he has to do. So I catch it in the air, midair. I catch it. It's too high for me. I catch it. I see him, and I just launch it. Poof, I launch it because I had to launch it. I mean, it's right here in the money. Boom. And that's like the one memory I have of that game. Well, there's other memories. And he doesn't catch it. And then, out of bounds, someone calls a timeout. Coach Garza gets me out. And for the first time ever, as I'm walking out, I'm over, Juan's there, and I'm just cussing him out or telling him it was your fault, or I can't believe you didn't catch it. Well, I mean, I'm just doing some gestures like, whatever. And he kind of says, it was my bad. I should have caught it, whatever. But I'm on the bench. What? I'm on the bench. I was like, Coach, you should be benching Juan. Of course, he's not going to bench Juan, right? But it's like, dude, it was an amazing pass. But of course, as a coach, you want settle down. It's a close game, fourth quarter, a minute left. It's tight. Run the offense, whatever it may be. But that's a story that I remember, and I'll tell him here in a little bit. I mean, I'm sure he remembers it. I think we've talked about it before in the past. But giving him a few more minutes, give him about one more minute to come back in. Let's see what happens. I don't know if he's texting me or not on my phone, but I don't use my phone during the, you know what? Hold on. Let me go to Facebook real quick. Bear with me real quick. See if he has sent me anything. Let me see here. Let me type up. Oh, I think he's back. Let me see. He's back. Give me a second. Yeah, he's back. Here you go. Man, Juan, I have never had to carry a show for this long with a guest, but it's okay. I was telling him the story of how in third grade was my last year at Kika La Garza. I went to Memorial Middle School. I lost track of you. I never really knew you in elementary. And then in seventh grade. Right. And I don't even remember you that much in seventh grade. Like when I go back, I'm like, I know he was there, but I don't remember. But then in eighth grade, when we went to Memorial, that was a little bit more work, less students, get to know each other. It was pretty neat because they added another junior high. So let's start from there. For the people that kept watching is, so we talked about the bilingual, you struggle with vocabulary, you're still successful. I talked about the college while you were gone. Basketball. When did you start playing basketball?
I started playing basketball in seventh grade, and that's because Coach Rick Garcia told me, Juan, just come check it out.
He's gone again. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna have to call Spectrum or whoever his cable company is and be like, "Look, you guys need to hook me up here because I had an incident last night with my Wi-Fi, and we'll see." Coach Ricky Garcia. I saw Ricky Garcia today at the polls. I saw Ricky Garcia today with the polls, and it was interesting because the story behind Ricky Garcia, and he was our coach in 7th grade. That's right. He was my coach in elementary. He was doing his student teaching, and then he ended up being a coach in 7th grade La Jolla Middle School. And I saw him today, and there's like a triangle right in the polls where the tents are today, and Mario Flores is over here, Ricky Garcia was over there, and they're just going across the street like this, right? They're talking baseball. And I don't know what they're talking about. But of course, me, I'm like, you know what? Let me. What's going on over here? What's going on over here? Being Rudy Mendez over here, and I start jibber jabbering too, and then Coach Garcia goes something like, yeah, he's credit where credit is due. I've never been able to beat him. He's 4-0. Or mine was like, hey, 4-0, 4-0. He's never been able to beat me, right? What's going on, David? What's going on? We're waiting for Juan Muniz. He's having trouble with his Wi-Fi, but I'm entertaining I'm telling stories while we get him back. So Ricky Garcia and Mario Flores are going back and forth, right? And like, no, I'll give you credit. You're the only team that beat me. And I go, hey, what's up, Mario? And Mario's like, 4-0. He's never been able to beat me, right? So I go up, and then Coach Ricky Garcia's like, what? You know how Ricky Garcia does? He does kind of like this, right? And in his voice, and he goes, hey, I'll admit, I'll give credit where credit is due. Hey, I haven't been able to beat him. Hey, but I'm the only coach that has been three-peat in the playoffs and like 4 deep or 8 deep. I don't know how far he's gone, right? And I'm like, Coach, how many years have you been in Palmview, right? And this is just jibber jabber, guys. This is just nonsense, adult males talking nonsense, right? And I'm like, Coach, how many years have you been in Palmview? He goes, 11. I'm like, well, then you should have been a 3-peat. You should have been that deep in the playoffs 11 years because most of the parents do the job for you. You don't have to do anything. You just like give signals and the players do the job for you, right? And I know that's not true, but I was just giving him a hard time. And then I'm like, look at Mario and Wally. I give them the Chavez kids. They're all prepped. All they have to do is just, basically just stand there and the kids do the work. I train them. They're all well polished. And Coach Ricky Garcia just gives me a look like, come on, the look, right? He just gives me that look. So it was pretty funny. It was entertaining. We're waiting for Juan Muniz to come back. He's having trouble with the Wi-Fi. But it was a story that, I experienced today during the polls there. It gets fun. It's fun. But I'll tell you what, though, being there in the polls and talking to Coach Ricky and Mario, and there's that competitive nature where we want to beat each other, but there's still that friendly banter of we talk trash. Part of it is true, but in a joking way to where gotcha. And, it is what it is. But, it's don't get me wrong. Coach Ricky's a good coach. He cares a lot about his students. I know Mario and Wally do too. But it was just funny. It was one of those things where it's just a friendly banter, I guess, just a bunch of nonsense. So it's pretty cool. But Ricky Garcia was, like Juan said, he was a coach that got him into it. I don't remember Juan playing football, though. I'm going to ask him right now when he gets back on the show. I don't remember him playing football. In retrospect, I think he would have been a much better football player than basketball player. Yeah, he was tall. He's 6'5". But he was pretty quick. He was pretty fast. I think he would have gotten a bigger scholarship to play football if he would have just stayed with it. But who knows? I don't know. I guess we will never know because he stuck to basketball. He was pretty good at basketball. Of course, he's 6'5". He's going to be, if he starts training in his skills and stuff, he's going to be pretty good. But, it's kind of hard. I mean, you can't blame the guy. For him to have so much, it's a lot easier for him to have very high success as a post player with Akeem Olajuwon on TV, learning the post moves. He's 6'5". Not many people are 6'5". I think he dominated most of the guys that were 6'5", 6'6". That were the few guys that were as tall as him in the district back in the day. So I mean, the guy put in the work, man. The guy, and he'll tell us the story in a bit. When he comes back, I'm gonna give him about 30 seconds, and now I'm gonna end the show for tonight, and we'll try to get him back tomorrow or another day. It'd be interesting. It's Spectrum Wi-Fi. It's understandable. I know my feed comes. I know my feed cuts off sometimes. It's very, very interesting. I don't know. It just gets blurry sometimes. But I did go to 5G. I think I had it on the 4G network or whatever it is. I did go to 5G, so it works. Now let me tell you guys something. Let me give while Juan is coming back, let me talk to you about some For Life stuff while we wait for Juan Muniz. Let's do a little ticker. Check this out. I was talking to some people. That's what it's called. It's a ticker. I was talking to some people about tickers. I got www.forlife.com/Rudy Mendez. I also got this logo right here, this bad boy. Let's go to logo. No, let's take this one off. Okay, let's do the ticker. Let's go to logos. Mendez Sports Training is in the house right here. Upper right, upper left. I don't know how you guys see it. But we got Juan Muniz in the house. He's coming in. He's having some technical difficulties. He'll be back in a bit. We're going to talk about, give me 30 seconds to talk about For Life immune system. For Life. So for people out there, For Life and the transfer factor molecule, it's such a great supplement. All it is it has transfer factor molecules. You can take it in juice form, chews, or kind of like gummies, chews. You can take it in chewables. You can take it in capsules. I know I take it. My wife takes it. My kids take it. My brother takes it. I got some people that take it. And all it does is it educates the immune system to recognize, respond, and remember threats in the body. It just helps the immune system do its job. It's amazing. It's amazing what the immune system can do once it's working correctly. But, I tell people and I hear some hardships and I'm like, dude, just boost your immune system. Just take care of the immune system. If you do that, everything else falls into place, right? Let's put that logo back up there. So, that's it. I also have a student. I don't know what the rules are, but he reached out to me and saying, we should talk about soccer and a recap of the weekend and Ronaldo and Messi. He's 15. I don't know the rules with La Jolla ASD or whatnot. He gave me an idea. He loves soccer. He wants to come on the show and have a show of me and him go at it and talk about what's going on with the Americans and stuff. But who knows? But it's 10:06. We're gonna have to give Juan Muniz another try some other time. We're gonna call it quits, I guess. He's having trouble, which is normal. No big deal. It's there's been a big pause, and we were about to get into his career. We had already talked about the bilingual, how he struggled, how he, in his experience, how he struggled in the ACT, how he struggled in freshman in college, how he struggled all through college because he did not know his English vocabulary because of his, the way his parents would go to Reynosa on the weekends. The English was very minimal. He would regress during the summers, the weekends. So it was tough for him. Now imagine if he would have had now imagine he tells me he got a 14 ACT. Now imagine Juan Muniz getting a 26 on his ACT. He would have gone to, granted, the stars are lined up the way they are. He's a very successful guy. But imagine him playing for a bigger university. That would have been pretty cool, right? I mean, he still had a great time at Murray. It's about not the grade, it's about just getting in. I know Mosso, the soccer player, he's over at man, he always tells me the score and I always forget. But he's playing soccer, but I'm sure some of the guys, I know Jerry Reyes went out there, but I'm sure they struggle. I'm sure they struggle with the English language, and it makes it tough for them to stay. So a lot of people say, oh, well, you didn't make it. Pues también no les ayudamos. We have them in bilingual till 6th grade or 5th grade. Why not have them in English 2nd, 3rd grade? Hey, vámonos, échale. Because we have to prepare them, right? I mean, that's just my point of view, personal point of view, but who knows? Well, with that being said, we're going to have to postpone this show. We're going to have to postpone it, have Juan Muniz come back. He's having some trouble over there. He hasn't been able to come back. No worries. We give it a try. He has a very interesting story. So with that, guys, I leave you guys. No worries. We'll have him back. It'll be good. Later. Peace. I could talk politics. Woo!